Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace and a pair of earrings today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in the most recent dollar bead box, the one for August 2024. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go over everything that came in the box. I have a coupon code. It's THJ2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. And here I have the 6mm Czech glass pearls that came in the box. The color is Coral Luster. And here I have the Czech glass large hole Celtic block beads that came in the box. They're 5 by 15 millimeters, and the color is Dusty Rose with Copper Wash. And here I have the 7 by 12 millimeter Czech glass Baroque pearl beads that came in the box in cream. And then I also had some in my stash from a previous dollar bead box. They're the same thing. They're Czech glass Baroque pearls in cream, but they're a little bit smaller. They're 5 by 7 millimeters. So I've got some of those in there. In here I've got what I'm going to use for my focal. It's the Czech glass tabular square that came in the box. It's 15 millimeters and the color is peach. And I've got a bell bead in there and a ball head pin and a jump ring. I'm going to put the square bead on the head pin and do a wire wrapped loop and then attach it to the bell with the jump ring. I've got some metallic bronze Miyuki seed beads that I'm going to use to space out the beads. I've got some findings in here. I've got a lobster clasp, some 4mm jump rings, one 8mm jump ring, a couple of pieces of chain, another piece of chain that has larger links in it to use as an extender. I've got a ball head pin and one of the little 6mm pearls that I'm going to put on it and hang it off the extender chain as a dangle. I've got a couple of 2x2 crimp tubes and a couple of wire guardians in there. And I have a couple of crimp covers in there. I'm going to attempt to use crimp covers this time. I never use them. I don't like them. We are not friends. I have the hardest time getting them in the nice round shape that they need to be, that they're supposed to be when you get done closing them. But I decided that I need to try to use them more. Probably it does give the jewelry a little bit more of a finished look, I guess. So I'm going to attempt to use some crimp covers. I don't know how it'll go, but I'm going to try. And here I've got what I'm going to use for my earrings. I've got 2 of these block beads, 4 of the smaller Baroque pearls, some eye pins, a couple of 4mm jump rings, the 2 8 by 16mm antique brass pewter drops that came in the box, and a couple of fishhook ear wires. I think that's everything that's in there. I've got my bead stopper. I'm going to be using my soft flick speeding wire in fine. This is 21 strand. The color is copper. I'll be using all my jewelry tools, my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, my round nose pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, both pairs of my cutters, both pairs of my crimping pliers, my flat nose pliers, and I've already used my memory wire cutters to cut my chain. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wire in when I cut it off. I'll just be using it when I make the dangle to go off the extender chain and the earrings. I think that's everything. I'll try to find links and put links to everything in the description box below, everything that didn't come in the box. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is make my focal here. So I've got my head pin. I'm going to put my square bead on here. And I'm going to take my pliers and go to the tip of the pliers. I'm going to bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Now I'm going to kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Like that. And stand my little wire straight up there. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. I want to make sure to get that first looping under the wrapping under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. And take my cutters. These are the cutters I use for craft wire and head pins and eye pins. I use a different pair of cutters for bead stringing wire. Cut off my extra wire. I wrapped that really tight because I wanted to try to make sure that square bead didn't spin around, and wrapped it tight. It's hard to get it cut off there. Now I use these crimping pliers, the little half circles at each end, to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. And that loop is not standing the way I want it to. It's not hardly centered. I'm going to go in here and see if I can kink it back a little bit and straighten it up. Yeah, I think that's better. Now I'm going to take my pliers and open my little 4mm jump ring here. And thread on my bail and my focal that I've made here. Close the jump ring back really well. So that's going to be my focal. So I'm going to go ahead and string the necklace up so y'all don't have to wait while I string all these little beads, and when I come back I'll show you what my pattern is. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got my necklace all strung up now. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's very long. It's off the screen here, but I've got 11 seed beads between all the beads. And then I started with 3 6mm pearls, one of the smaller Baroque pearls, 3 more 6mm pearls, one of the smaller Baroque pearls, one of the block beads, one of the larger Baroque pearls, one of the block beads, one of the larger Baroque pearls, one of the block beads, one of the smaller Baroque pearls, 3 of the 6mm pearls, a small Baroque pearl, 3 of the 6mm pearls, a larger Baroque pearl, and then I have my focal on here, and under that bail I've got a couple of seed beads in under there so that the bail is not rubbing directly against the bead stringing wire. And then I just have the same exact thing on this side. So now I'm going to crimp. I'm going to take my crimp tube and put it on here. I better zoom in a little now. I had my camera pulled up really high so that I could try to get all that, the whole necklace in the frame. Now I'm going to put my wire guarding on. I'm going to go down the other channel of the wire guardian. back into the crimp tube. Make sure to hold my wires apart so they don't get crossed in there. Because when I crimp, I want both of my wires to land in their own little separate channels, and they won't do that if they're crossed in there. Now I'm going to take these crimping pliers. I like these crimping pliers best for crimping because that tooth there is much bigger than the tooth in these crimping pliers, and it's just easier for me to crimp with these crimping pliers. So I'm going to take the part with the tooth there, and I'm going to lay the tooth on top of my crimp tube, and I'm going to squeeze. And that puts each little wire in its own little channel. Now, I have been using these crimping pliers to fold the crimp. There's 3 half circles on each side, and you would go into the middle one for the 2x2 crimp tubes. But I've discovered I like these crimping pliers better for folding the crimp. The part there at the end where you fold the crimp with is just bigger, and it's easier for me to do it with those. So I'm going to put my crimp in there and squeeze. Now I'm going to tug. I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Of course, it's not necessary to have 2 pairs of crimping pliers. I had these first, and then I got the other ones because I thought they would help me with my crimping, and they do, because it's a lot easier for me to crimp with those Xuron ones. I think they're Xuron, yeah. But as far as folding the crimp, I just have found it's easier to do it with those Bead ones. So now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to put my crimp on here, my wire guardian. And come down the other channel of my wire guardian. And back through my crimp tube. I like to try to go through a bead on this side if I can, to get my hands out of the way and to center my wire guardian over my last bead. I'm not sure if I can get through these pearls again, though. They have very tiny little holes. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, no, they'll just won't go through there again. So I can't do that this time. So I'm just going to make sure my wires are not crossed, and hold on to my wire guardian and pull my wire through. Now I want to make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be too tight either. And I usually coil it up like this, and that keeps it from being too tight when I crimp it. So now I'm going to hold on to all this and take these crimping pliers and use the part with the tooth. I got loose there. I'm going to lay the tooth on top, squeeze. I don't think that crimped right. It doesn't look right. I'll see if I can open it up and crimp it again. It happens to me a lot. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to take these crimping pliers and use the half circles at the end and fold my crimp. I'm I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to get the dreaded crimp covers and see if I can put them on there. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to try to put a crimp cover on here now. I already did one side to try and practice. I got it on there. I'm not real excited about how it looks, but I guess it's okay since I'm kind of new at this and not really knowing what I'm doing and have never been good at it. So I'm going to put my crimp cover on there. And I'm going to start squeezing it shut. I think the problem that I have had in the past is I try to squeeze it shut just really quickly all at once. And that's probably not the way to do it. So I'm going to get it squeezed enough that it'll stay on there without me holding it. And I'm going to take these crimping pliers, the little half circles there at each end. It'll fit in there now once I get it this closed, and I'm going to go squeeze the other way from back to front. And then turn around and squeeze the other way. And then go the other way. Just keep going back and forth. I've got it closed. It's just not as round as I would like it to be. That's probably as good as I'm going to do, so I'm going to leave it alone there. So now I'm going to get my chain and everything put on, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to finish putting my findings on here now. I've got a couple of little pieces of chain here. I measured this, and it measured 17 inches. And these little pieces of chain are like 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring. And open it up. And put my chain on there. And put it on one side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back. Do the same thing on the other side. And put it on this side. I believe I would have been alright and not dropped that if I hadn't got tangled there. It back. And now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put my lobster clasp on here. I'm going to take an 8mm jump ring and put it on this side for my lobster to clasp onto. And then I have a little piece of extender chain. It's about 2 inches long. Well, I thought it was, but those pieces there are 1 3/4 inches. I don't think that extender chain is 2 inches long. It's not as long as the chain I've already got on there. Let me measure. No, it's just like 1.5 inches. Okay, so that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to make my little dangle to go off my extender chain. I've got a ball head pin. I'm going to put my little pearl on here. Take my pliers, go to the tip of the pliers, pin the wire over at a 90-degree angle, round those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, round those pliers facing me, pin the wire back till it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take this part under until it hits the bottom of the tool, kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Made an awfully big loop that time. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burr. I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and open up my last link here on my extender chain. Thread on my dangle. Close my extender chain back, my link back. So there's my little dangle. There's my necklace. So hold on, I'll get my stuff and make my earring. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to make my earring now. So I'm going to take an eye pin and one of my smaller Baroque pearls. And I'm going to do simple loops. I'm not good at simple loops, but this is already going to be a pretty long earring as it is, so I didn't want to add any extra length to it. So I'm going to go a little bit above the bead so I don't crack my bead. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Take my cutters and cut off and leave about 1/4 of the pin here. 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make sure there's no wire sticking out here. And I go down pretty far on the barrel to get my loop started. And then I go up here to the tip to finish my loop. Need to get it started a little more than that. Rolling. My loops are never facing the same way when I'm done, so I always have to get 2 pairs of pliers and straighten them up. Okay, now I'm going to take another eye pin and open up the eye. Thread on this little link that I've already made and close my eye back. I'm going to take my block bead here and take my pliers and go a little bit above the bead. Bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. Cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of the pin. I'm going to go here and start rolling back my loop like I did before. I think I left more pin that time. I left more than a half. I either didn't leave a 1/4 of an inch on that first one, or I left more than a 1/4 of an inch on this one, because there was a pretty big difference in them. Okay, so it looks pretty straight, but I probably need to straighten it up a little more. And my loop is not really closed very well. I'm going to open it and close it again. So now I'm going to take this little piece of wire that's left, so that I'm not being wasteful, and I'm going to make an eye pin out of it. So I'm going to go to the, just go up here anywhere and bend over to 90-degree angle. And I'm going to cut off just a little bit, because I don't need much here. That looks like about a 1/4 of an inch as it is. So now I'm going to take my pliers and start rolling back my loop, just like I have been. And I didn't do that very well, because that's not centered over the wire. So I'm going to go in here and cock my neck back a little. And close it back better. So I'm making a little eye pin there. I'm going to open the eye that I just made and thread on my part that I made already and close it back. And now I'm going to take my other small Baroque pearl, put it on here. Take my pliers, go a little bit above the bead, bend the wire over to 90-degree angle, take my cutters, cut off and leave about a 1/4 of an inch of the pin. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and roll me a loop back here. Roll until it's closed. And I need to straighten them up here. They're not straight. I open this and close it back again so it'll be closed better. Now I'm going to take 4mm jump ring, and attach my little drop. To the bottom of my earring. Now I'm going to take my ear wire and open it up and add it onto my ear wire. Make sure it's facing right, because these little drops are not double-sided. Close my ear wire back. So there's my earring. So hold on, I get all this laid out and I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace and pair of earrings made with some of the beads that came in the August 2024 dollar bead box. Hopefully someday I'll get better at putting crimp covers on. I think it'll help if I get some better quality ones. Those are some really, really inexpensive ones I got when I very first started beading. I don't even know where I got them. So I think if I were to get some better quality crimp covers, it would help. like I said, if you're not subscribed to the Dollar Bead Box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.